Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Cheng Yin Cheong.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very excited and pleased to be here to discuss education with all of you. Before my presentation, I would like to present one of my watercolor paintings with all of you to welcome you. At the same time, I would like to use this painting to express the congratulations on the great success of this conference and also my sincere thanks to the organizing committee inviting me to come. Thank you very much. I hope you liked this painting, maybe have some insight for our education development. Okay, let me start. The topic of my presentations related to teacher development. Why teacher development? Why we need to discuss it. I think this is the key. Here, I would like to present the line of thinking behind why we need to develop our teacher, to meet the challenge in the new century. As you know, there are numerous challenges to different countries. Challenge from globalization, information technology advancement, international competition, economic transformation, and also our local development. Our local people would like to see the development, in different aspects. This is the challenge, not only to Thailand, to Hong Kong, to UK, and to other countries. The question to us is that, what about education? It means that as a response, our education have to meet the challenge, to help the country to meet the challenge. As you know, no matter in Thailand and Hong Kong or other countries, you can see that in the past 20 years, many change. No matter you use the term reform, change, or transformation, or new idea or innovation, you can see that the change in policy concern. The policymaker, make some change, and also our education aims and content. It means that not the traditional one. We would like to meet the challenge from the knowledge economy, to make innovation industry. This is the challenge. We need to change our aims and content. And also the learning process, very clear. Curriculum, teaching, and also the use of facilities, education facility, and even within our classroom, the student composition. Nearly every aspect. What implication to our teachers? Do they need a new set of competence, a new set of idea, or attitude to carry out the change in education? In my presentation, I would like to show what kind of challenge to our teacher and their professional development. Maybe you are concerned whether the existing practice of teacher development relevant to education reform or not. We have a reform. What about our teacher? Do they have the new set of competence? We have the paradigm shift in learning, more focus on student creativity, more focus on student center, action learning, experiential learning, service learning, Any implication to our teachers' development? And also the question to us is that more fundamental. It means that what our teachers teach in the classroom, what our students learning in the classroom, relevant to the future or not? After 10 years, will they find a good job in the job market? What about the future? What about our students competent to meet the challenge of 21st century? Now, this question we need to answer, we need to discuss. Now, before I go in depth into the teacher development. Let us see the trend of education change and reform. In the past 20 years, in different parts of the world, what kind of international trend in reform? Now, as you know, at the macro level, some countries now talking about we establish the national vision and education aim. I think Korea, reported by Professor Beck, give us a very clear case, a very strong case. We need to rethink our national agenda, our national aim. We structure our school system. In Hong Kong, we changed our school system from previous British system into American system 334. The junior secondary, senior secondary, and 4-year university education. We changed the school system. Marketization. We are talking about using the private money, to provide more educational service, more diversification in education provision. Coming up in Bangkok, in other countries, you see that. And also at the meso level. As pointed out in our distinguished guest, speaker, parental involvement in education is crucial. We need to do it, at the meso level. More important is that in the past year, you can see many initiatives to change school, to change the site level, the school management, the leadership, how we can manage the resources in a better way, how we can organize and provide the education service. At the site level, you can see that education standard, quality assurance, international benchmarking, accountability, all are common terminology and common concept we need to deal with. You see that, and have a belief. If we can ensure quality, maybe we can satisfy stakeholders' expectation. School-based management. I believe in Thailand, in the past 10 years to 20 years, also have some initiative in decentralization. I still remember in 1990s, I came to Thailand several times, talking about the school-based management, talking about the decentralization. I think this is a part of the effort. And the third one related to teachers' professional development. You have so many change. If we do not have professional development for our teacher, for our principal, how can we implement the change? How can they have the ability, competence, the new skill to implement the change? It means that the professional development is necessary, for educational change. Now, even at the macro level, meso level, and site level, we have changed. But finally, we would like to see what happened in the classroom. In this year, we emphasize paradigm shift in learning, more student center, more, as reported by Vice Minister, the student peer teaching, the mentoring, all are good concepts and all are good practice. Related to the operational level, we have paradigm shift in teaching, learning, and curriculum, and use of technology, use of IT, to do it. Now, with this concept, it means that we expect our students in Thailand and Hong Kong and other countries, they have a new type of learning, relevant to the future, relevant to the 21st century, relevant to the creative industry, as reported by our Korea colleague. You see that. Now, if our students to have the new learning, what about our teachers? What kind of teaching they should have? If so, it means that no matter what initiative at the above level, finally we hope all initiatives should be converged into classroom. Teaching learning is the core. All other just to support, to facilitate. I think this is the key message we would like to have. Now, the question to us is that with this change, with this demand for new learning, what implication to quality of teacher? We would like to understand the concept quality, what it means, quality. We understand we need to have teacher development. But what kind of teacher development we should have? You know, if we want to answer this question, I believe we can take reference some important report. According to the result, OECD PISA result, you know, in the past year, McKinsey report, you know, on the successful system in 2007 and 2010, and also UK's Department of Education report in 2010. All these reports have a common concern or suggestion or conclusion. Good teachers are the most important feature of a successful education system. If we are talking about successful education system, we need good teacher. And also the level of quality of education is not beyond the level of quality of teacher. It means that if we do not have high quality teacher, no hope for us to have high quality education. It means that the quality of teacher set a boundary, upper bound. You know, our quality of education, you know, just below. If we want to enhance our quality of education, we need to enhance the quality of our teachers. You see that? The logic quite simple, very explicit. You know, this is the reason why in this year, more and more policymakers pay attention to teacher education, to teacher development, how to enhance the quality of teacher. Now, we follow this line of thinking. I would like to propose some perspective talking about best practice for teacher development. Best practice is not a piecemeal exercise, a piecemeal measure, you know, to give more vacation, to give more salary. No, not in such a way. The best practice should be a holistic approach. Holistic approach. I propose here, there are four principles. There are four principles here. It means that the first principle, we need to attract high quality young people to be teachers. Attract high quality young people to be teachers through the status of the teaching profession, through the salary. I think Korea, you know, have already given us a very good example. Teacher is the king, right? You see, wow, so respect that. Yeah, we work very hard, you know, to achieve. It means that it's important, such that teaching profession really has good prospect. And then we have the good people in the teaching profession. This is the principle number one. The principle number two, to develop teacher, of course. You know, we have teacher education, we have professional development to continuously develop our teacher to meet the challenge. Make sure our teacher have the competence, the necessary competence, you know, to relevant to the new type of learning, relevant to the development or competent for 21st century. I think this is this part. I think every one of you understand. You know, no problem. You know, but the third one, to empower our teacher. Don't just train them, but also provide good working condition, working environment such that they can perform. They can achieve the target effectively. You know, this is the reason why our education leaders, school-led leaders are so important, because you create the environment for our teacher to perform, to facilitate them to achieve the new goals for our teacher, our student. This is related to the performance and effectiveness of teaching. The last one, many people ignore the last principle, to retain our teacher. Particularly those high-quality teachers. They have the ability to move, to go out the system because they are high quality. How we can keep these people in the teaching profession is really a challenge. How we can ensure they are socially, psychologically, and physically well-being. You see that? Nowadays, too demanding on teacher, too much workload, we can't keep them. You see that this is the fourth principle is important for us to keep the teaching profession, have the sustainability and stability, because education is a long process. It's a culture building. Take years to happen. If we do not have a stable teaching force, with including high quality people, how we can build a culture? How we can achieve the long-term goal at the end? You see that? Now, these are four principles, but in fact, these four principles are interrelated. It means that we can't use only one principle and ignore the other. We try to use all principles as much as possible because they are interrelated. No matter at the school level, as the school principal, we would like to apply these four principles as much as possible. But at the same time, at the system level, the policy maker makes sure we have the policy to achieve these four principles. This is important. At the same time, when we use these four principles, we have also paid attention to the impact of the ongoing reform. The changing context. For example, in Hong Kong, the student population declined quickly, have a great impact on the whole teaching profession, on all schools, in Hong Kong. It means that our teacher management, our teacher development strategy and policy should address this issue. This is a more holistic picture to show. Now, let me go further on why attracting quality young people to be teachers so crucial, so important to education. When we are talking about to build up high quality human capital for the society in an era of globalization, we are talking about high quality human capital. Not just technique, not just skill. We are talking about capital, intellectual capital, human resources capital, cultural capital. Why attract young people so important? Let me illustrate the complicated process by pictures. Now, let you please see our student learning experience and outcome. There are two levels. The superficial learning, superficial level, our student can achieve knowledge and skill in the classroom, in the learning process. Okay? This is the superficial. But more important is that in the learning process, whether our student can achieve intellectual asset and cultural capital. It means that our students not only have the skill and technique, the attitude. They are very proactive. They are very initiative. You see my point? And the thinking model, more constructive, more positive. They change the world, the world, because they have different type of cultural capital. The DNA is different. So positive, so proactive, so constructive. Now, the question to us is that there are two levels. Of course, you want to achieve not only the superficial, Nowadays, we emphasize more on the deeper level. Why? Because cultural capital more value added, more sustainable, in a long time. Related to our student personal quality, the attitude, the value, the thinking, the belief, more deep. Yeah, that is important. What about our teacher? Let me show you. Our teacher to teach, they have the competence. There are two types of competence. One type is a superficial competence. They go to teacher college or teacher university. They receive training. They have knowledge, professional knowledge and skill. This is a superficial knowledge, level. And our teacher have a deeper level. Some teachers are different. Some teachers have more intellectual asset. Every day, our mathematics teacher or our language teacher go into the classroom. When they teach mathematics, write down something, organize some activity. Apparently, they are teaching mathematics. In fact, of course, they are teaching mathematics. But more important, they are teaching how to think. Teaching our students how to think, how to perceive the world, how to talk to other people. The language of our teacher, of our mathematics teacher, our language teacher, of our art teacher, no different. Every day, they transfer the mindset, the pattern of language, the line of thinking from their mind to their student. It means that every day our teacher transfer intellectual asset to student, the cultural capital to student. In what way? Especially a kind of knowledge delivery, at the same time a cultural transfer. Now, okay, come to us. If I want to enhance the student knowledge and skill, it means that if we want to enhance the left-hand side, we need to enhance our teachers' superficial professional skill. It's necessary. If we want to enhance our student deeper level, the intellectual asset, the cultural DNA, what we should do? Of course, depend on our teachers' intellectual asset. If you can't find high quality people to be teacher, what you can expect? Every day, a poor teacher delivering poor cultural capital to your student. It's a disaster. Because your students are learning the poor DNA, they're learning the poor cultural capital, receiving. I think this is the reason why we need to recruit those young people with very strong and good, personality, the line of thinking, the thinking model. This is very important. Our leaders, please consider one way how you can find high-quality young people to be teacher. I think very strategic. Now, let me show you more data. Fortunately, we have Korea model. You see that? How we can attract high-quality people to be teacher? Of course, ensure the status. And also give them higher starting salary. According to McKinsey report, now you can see that Korea here. Korean teachers, in fact, at the top 5% of the same cohort, student same cohort, very high quality, excellent quality. Finland, the top 10%. Singapore, top 15 to 20%. Hong Kong to 30%, and Hong Kong 15 to 30%. You know, according to my understanding, Singapore and Hong Kong should be around 15, you know, to 20, not to 30. But I don't understand why become 30. You know? But what about the salary? Please look at it. In Korea, the starting salary, young people graduate from university, they get 141% GDP per capita or above. Quite high. You know, this is the reason why they become the king. And Finland, 95%, Singapore, 95%, Hong Kong, 97%, the OECD, around 95%. Now, this country, in fact, in the PISA result, they perform very well, you know, because they have a good, excellent team of people, you know, in the teaching profession. Okay, now, after the principle one, how we can prepare and develop our teacher for new teaching and learning, you know, we come to the core issue. Now, if we discuss this issue, maybe we need to look at the big picture in the last 20 to 30 years, you know, related to education reform. What happened? What are the trends? And then we understand what kind of teacher development we need, you know. Now, let me show you. In the 1980 to 1990s, you see that this is the traditional education change and reform. The effort focused on the school internal process with a hope to improve teachers' teaching and also the school environment such that we can achieve the education aim, you know, and become effective. We have the effective school movement during that period. You see that. What about teacher? In the first way, in the traditional concept, teacher effectiveness is a kind of internal effectiveness. It means that they can teach well in the classroom. They can improve the learning environment for students. You know, this is the, we understand that this is the quite traditional. But in 1990s, the concept has been changed because the success of the business management, marketization, the policymaker, you know, begin to believe, why not we use the marketization, market competition to drive the education improvement? You know, like business. You see that if we can separate the school into different groups, let them compete with others, and then they will perform well. This line of thinking behind, they can meet the stakeholder, meet the expectation of stakeholder. You know, we talking about quality. Quality is more than achievement or target. Quality related to satisfaction of stakeholder. But unfortunately, the expectation, the demand of stakeholder often change. It means that the school have to change. You see that. And at that time, the teacher effectiveness to a certain extent related how they can meet the need of parent, community leader, employer, you see, in such a way. Not only complete the syllabus. Complete the syllabus is only part of the job. The major target is to satisfy stakeholder expectation. This is a kind of interface effectiveness. The third way, as I mentioned, because of the globalization, challenge, many people, particularly the country leader, they worry. You know, the international competition, if they do not reform or change the school education, they worry whether the education, relevant to the future development of the new generations. You see that, such that the emphasis on world-class education. It means that our student education, when compared with other advanced countries, the quality of education, the standing of the quality is comparable and even better than other countries. In such a way, we have the terminology, we have the concept world-class education. You see that? World-class material, world-class student, something like that. You see, related to future teacher infrastructure. Let me go into the detail. I understand I'm under the pressure of time. Okay. Now, in the first way, the concept of education, the concept of teaching, for example, related to delivery of knowledge, attitude, and skill from teacher to student. If we look at the old syllabus, the old education aims, you can see that, And also learning as a student receiving and achieving knowledge, skill, and attitude, something like that. Now, if we use this picture to illustrate the process of delivery, now you can see that on your right-hand side, it is student learning outcome, student learning experience, teacher performance, and teacher competence. What is delivery of knowledge in such a way? It means that the teacher should have the competence to perform in the classroom and deliver the knowledge, skill, and attitude, the planned knowledge and skill, from teacher to student, from syllabus to student. This is the classical concept. If a teacher is performing well, it means that he or she is doing a good job in delivering the knowledge. You see? Now, what about the teacher development? If we want to improve the teacher development, what we need to do, of course, we need to help our teacher to achieve a new set of skill or competence such that they can perform the delivery well. The role of teacher is mainly knowledge deliver, or instructor. In general, in the professional training course, please pay attention to the curriculum or the professional development, the content, often related to the subject matter. Yes, you are a mathematics teacher. The professional development for you will include more information, skill related to the subject, of course. You see? And also some related to pedagogical subject knowledge. Yes, not only subject knowledge, the subject knowledge presented or taught or delivered in a pedagogical way. In what way? Help them to achieve that kind of professional skill. And the last one, pedagogical knowledge. But the knowledge not for student center. The pedagogical knowledge for delivery. How you can deliver the mathematics concept effectively to students from you. Okay? You should know the psychology. You should know the pedagogical method. I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. But because it is determined by the aim, this is the syllabus. But in the first way, we understand the limitation. In the past 30 years, so many professional development courses and programs. But finally, teacher may not be happy, policymaker feel not so successful, the school principal, okay, after training, when you return to school, you perform not so well, you can't lead our teaching team, all this. In fact, the professional development program has done a good job. But unfortunately, the expectation of stakeholders already changed, already increased. The education task become more complicated than previous day. The classroom become more diverse because they include more special needs student there. You know, we are talking about other type of expectation. It means that the second way, the first way have been changed, you know, to the second way. In the second way, you change the concept, as I mentioned, more focus on satisfaction of stakeholder. To some extent, it's a kind of market effectiveness. If you can meet stakeholder expectation, they feel happy with your educational service, you have done a good job. You are successful. You see that. This kind of concept. We have the accountability measure. If you can perform according to the accountability standard, you are doing well, you know. And then the concept of teaching and learning are very different from our old day. How different? Please see. Teaching as a service to client and stakeholder. Learning, a student receiving a service from teacher and school to meet the need. Any problem with this kind of statement? Any problem? I think you become familiar with this kind of statement nowadays. Not teacher is the king, parent is the king. Why? Because he is the key client, he's the key stakeholder. Every day morning, parents, you know, tell their children, my dear student, please, after breakfast, go to school. Enjoy the service provided by your teacher. If the service is not so good, you feel not so happy, please tell me. I will go to the principal's office and ask why. Please, what do you feel? Quite business, quite commercial. We are talking about education. Why you are talking about business? You know? But this is change. This is a growing reality, you know, become popular in different parts of the world. Now, if so, what about the teacher development? If you are clever, if you are business-minded, you know, if you put the stakeholder at the top priority, now I think our teacher development to equip our teacher with that kind of competence, they can meet the expectation of stakeholder. You know, they understand the market, they can manage the relationship with parents, you know, not only teach well, have a good relationship with parents, you see that, and also ensure the accountability measure to be implemented. You see that. The concept are different. Maybe sooner or later, you have more and more this kind of professional development program, you know, for your teachers. Of course, this kind of teacher development have problem, you know. Too short-term oriented, too instrumental and market-driven. To a great extent, it is contradicting with our original education value. We emphasize a kind of moral side of the education. You see that, a kind of, to groom young people, ignore the business side. You see that. This is the one of the problem. And the other problem related to the practice of second way. You know, whether this kind of teaching development, you know, relevant to the future, to our teachers' sustainable development and effectiveness in the future may not a concern. Even our parents are very happy with our service. Whether this kind of satisfaction related to the future may not be a concern, or are short-term, you know, to a certain extent. We change the concept to the third way. I think more important, you know, this is the core part of my presentation. It means that we need our teacher, you know, provide world-class education in a context of globalization. No matter our students in a village, in rural area, or in urban area, the quality of education they learn, they have, should have very high quality, comparable with other students in other parts of the world. You see that? How we can do that? You know, how we can make sure our education relevant to new development and the future of our students and the world in the new century. This is the question mark to us, you know. Let me explore this issue further. Now, we are talking about learner for 21st century. What kind of character, what kind of feature our students should have, you know, such that they can survive, they can develop, they can achieve and perform in the new century. According to Stanford University, Professor Henry Levin, as report, this is very, very important report. He studied the high value added industry in America and also in the Western society. He found out there are 12 very important competence for value added in industry, you know, for knowledge-based economy. From initiative, now you please pay attention to each of these competencies and see whether they can learn from the examination or from the textbook. Now, please see. Our student initiative, what about, of course, we can use the examination to drive them work harder. Whether they have the sustainable initiative, may not, you know. Collaborative, as reported by our Vice Minister in this morning. Team learning, teamwork, you know, all related to collaborative. Teamwork is very important. You see that. And also, Korea has report, you know, not only the individual creativity. We are talking about collective creativity. The team work, you know. Team peer, again, the peer teaching, the mentoring, you know, assessment and evaluation. If they have the skill of assessment and evaluation, they can learn, you know, continuously from the data, not by the feedback from teachers, but by themselves, you know. Reasoning, of course, you know, reasoning is important. Problem solving, yes. The whole world is open, you know, no definite answer. You know, they have the skill of problem solving, decision making, risk, alternative, how to make decision, achieve and using information. Of course, we are talking about knowledge, you know, knowledge economy, planning, learning ability, learning how to learn in a changing environment, lifelong learning, all related to learning ability, multicultural ability, more and more important. You can see that the whole world is mixing, you know, more and more. You have to work with other people, with different culture. You see that. Now, as I mentioned, you know, can this competence learned by with textbook, examination? Our Vice Minister has already mentioned, you know, it's a kind of action learning. It's a kind of experimental learning. You see that. How our teacher can facilitate our students to achieve this kind of competence. Different type. We are talking about our students' self-learning, peer mentoring, you know, coaching. This different kind of skill we need. You know, it means that our teachers' professional development, the concept, the content, the aim should be changed. You know, at least should be enriched. You know, if not changed. According to my observation, what kind of change we need in teacher development. According to my observation, the whole world is in globalization. But up to now, the people emphasize on technological globalization, economic globalization, but ignore the social development, political development, cultural development, and learning development. In fact, they are multi-dimensional globalization in all directions. Now, if so, your student in the 21st century, in a context of globalization, how they can maintain the development, in what way? From my theory, it means that our students should be multiple passion. They are a good engineer, maybe. At least they know how to use the technology to solve the problem, to do the planning, right? Economic passion, more and more important. Not only take the business course, no. The economic passion, it means that they know how to find resources, they know how to use the resources, manage resources in a more environmental protection way. You see that this is the economic passion. Social passion, why not? We are talking about social and emotional intelligence. You see that? Political passion, of course, more and more important. Right now, Hong Kong, talking about, we have a big students' protest, all related to politics. We need to think about it. Culture, they are cultural person. They have their own belief. They have their own values. They have the vision to the future. Learning passion. If outside changing so much, if they are not learning passion, what they can do? You see that? Now, if our students are multiple passion, it means that our education, our daily teaching, our school life should facilitate our students to develop contextualized multiple intelligence. Not only multiple intelligence, it's a kind of contextualized multiple intelligence related to terminological, social, economic, political, cultural, and learning. It means that they can think in different way. They can use a technological perspective to consider the issue, to find the alternative in terms of method, And also at the same time, they have economic thinking. They know how to do it in a more effective way, in a more effective to achieve the aim. They can consider the feeling of other people, the social relationship, when they make the decision, when they decide that product. You see that they have the political thinking. They respect other people. No matter how high the moral ground, in democracy or in other things, they should respect other people's right. All are important. Cultural intelligence, very important. If we do not have the cultural intelligence, we will lose our direction. We will lose our core values. You see that? The learning intelligence, they know how to learn, in a more efficient way. Now, if we can provide this kind of CMI education for our students, it means that our students, even they are in a very changing and challenging environment, no problem to them because they have that kind of multiple thinking. They can adapt to the situation. They can be creative. They find out some innovative way because they can jump out of the box to think. Let me use another picture to illustrate. It means that our teachers should help our students to achieve each type of thinking. Multiple thinking, multiple perspective. Now the people emphasize very much on critical thinking. I have some reservations, to be frank. I would like to encourage our students. I have 10 minutes. I think we need to encourage our students to use multiple perspectives, to have multiple thinking skills, but not only critical. If they have alternative view, they can solve the problem. They understand other people. Not only use one perspective, become very critical to other people. I think this is very important part. And also put the learning intelligence as the core. We are talking about lifelong learning. If they have the learning skill, they can accelerate the development of other intelligence. Why not? You see that this is the reason why in the curriculum reform, we emphasize on learning how to learn, right? Yeah. Now, more important coming. Thinking transfer. Thinking transfer related to innovation, creativity, imagination. If our students have multiple thinking, it's not sufficient. It's important to facilitate our students to have thinking transfer. If they have technological knowledge, at the same time, they have the social considerations, have the social concern, they can apply the technological skill and competence to solve the problem in the social domain, right? Sometimes we are in a difficult situation, in a political conflict situation, we can't solve the problem. If we can jump out of the political box with the support of the cultural value, with the technology, maybe we have creative idea to solve the problem. In general, the definition of creativity is think out of the box. But now, you have 6 boxes at least. You know, every time you can jump out from one box to other 5 boxes, the world becomes different. You know, more choices for all of us because you have so many boxes. Yeah, you know how to transfer. This is the reason why this is important, not only to those students in urban area, but also in rural area. I understand Thailand is a big country in terms of agriculture, right? Yeah, because Hong Kong people eat the rice from Thailand a lot, mainly from Thailand. You see that. The question is that how our students in the rural area, yeah, they have the technological knowledge, and also they know how to convert the agricultural product into economy, into other way, use the economic way of thinking, you know, how the productivity, the production related to the social network, the people, they can do a good marketing. You see that? It means that no matter our student in rural area or in urban area, if our education can help them to achieve broader perspective, they have the possibility and ability to jump out of the box and develop their own future. You see, in coming year, I believe the organic agriculture is become a very big business. You know, because the business, you know, will much highly value added. Use the other concept, use the other knowledge. You say that, okay, I have to run a little bit faster. The teaching concept and learning concept with the third wave education, you can see completely different. Teaching to facilitate CMI and sustainable development of students in local and global context. Now, when you compare the first wave and the second wave, it's completely different. Yeah? And learning is a process of students develop CMI, creativity, and 21st century competence for multiple and sustainable development. Now, if we adopt this concept, third wave concept, you can see the way, the theory, the practice, or teacher development will be completely different from the first way and the second way. It means that our professional development program, teacher development initiative should facilitate our teacher to become third-way teacher. Who can facilitate students to have third-way learning, you know? And then our students have more opportunity to develop. I have already reported. It means that how to facilitate our students CMI and creativity. I believe in Thailand, Korea, Hong Kong, and other parts of the world, more and more emphasize on general education, liberal study, you know, imagination, integrated learning, self-regulated learning, lifelong learning, interdisciplinary learning, all related to multiple thinking development, all related to creativity, you know, to facilitate creativity. We hope our teacher has such kind of competence to do it, you know. Of course, there is paradigm shift in learning, you know, from the traditional Saibang paradigm to the CMI tripization paradigm. Tripization, it means that globalization, localization, and individualization in learning. It means that not only individualization, not only globalization, but integrate them together such that our students have unlimited opportunity to develop, to groom their CMI, you see. Now, teacher development help our students to have individualized, you know, learning, you know, and then our students can maximize their human motivation, potential, and creativity, you know, in learning. I think I have no time to go into the detail of each on the individualization in learning, but just some idea. And also, our teachers should have the competence, you know, to facilitate student localization in learning. I think that we are doing. You know, many school principal leaders are doing to introduce, to bring in more and more local expert resources into school, you know, and send our students to the local community to serve the old people, to learn through the surface learning. You see that the activities are coming out. You know, this is the part of the localization in learning. And also, we facilitate our student globalization in learning. You know, it means that we hope after school education, after university education, our students have the global mindset. They think, not only use the multiple perspective, but also beyond the local context, such that they can, you know, achieve more opportunity in future, not only in Bangkok, not only in Thailand, but also beyond. I think this is a key point we need to pay attention. I don't go into the detail. This is a picture I like very much. Every time I present my speech, I would like to use it. I think you like it too. This is our student. You know, he or she has a global perspective, and also have the network behind, the keyboard network, and also, you know, supported by the local community. You see that. It means that we hope our students have the globalized perspective, localized strength, and individualized creativity. So, you know, I like Korea's strategy very much because they believe every student, so, you know, should have that kind of creativity. You know, I think that they are doing very well, you know, in this aspect, such that our students, individually or as a whole, have sustainable development. If we're talking about world-class competence, we don't just benchmark with UK or Germany or US. We just look at these factors, whether our students really have globalized, localized, and individualized in learning. If so, they have the world-class education. Maybe, should I stop here or I have to go? May I take 3 minutes? Is it okay? Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. A few minutes, okay? Yeah, okay. It means that our teacher, when facing the wave, the third wave, tsunami, you may call it tsunami, or big wave of change, and also the paradigm shift in our students' learning, from the traditional reproduced learning become individualized learning, a big change, what our teacher can do, what kind of competence they should have. We need to answer this question. And also when our students' learning have been changed from the site-bounded towards localized and globalized learning, it means that they learn not only within the classroom, not only within the school, with the teacher or other peer, they learn from experts outside the school, maybe in other part of the world. This is completely different. It becomes a kind of lifelong learning. As I explained, I don't go into the detail. Now, if we have the paradigm shift in learning, you can see that there is a paradigm shift in the role of teacher. This table just shows why our teacher's role changed and the quality of our student will be changed. Now, the first one, appreciation. If our teacher play a role as a facilitator, appreciate what student is doing, what students are doing, our student will become the searcher, to search, and also they develop a kind of quality self-determination because our students to search, to explore. You see? This is a kind of change. If our teacher is a partner, teacher and student participate in the learning activity and the school activity, our student achieve responsibility because our student are partner. You have the responsibility at the same time, all of us. You see that? If our teacher is a patron, it means that our student will become designer or creator. It means that our teacher support our student to create. Our student will become creative. Yes? When our teacher is a guy, our student will become explorer. The learning process becomes observing and exploring and searching. Our student can have the quality to take risks, to explore. You see. Similarly, I don't go to one by one in detail. It means that this kind of quality, a kind of high order learning. In general, this quality learned from action, not from textbook. Very few from textbook. The question to us, how our teacher can facilitate this kind of action learning. You see that? And also we have other role, to our teacher to play. I don't go into the detail. Okay. Now, the number 8 and 9 and 10, this is the traditional role of our teacher. Focus on delivery. Sometimes we have to give our students some basic skill, some basic knowledge. But the major aim to facilitate our students' self-exploration, when they achieve skill and knowledge. This is the Hong Kong report to show that we need to have paradigm shift in teaching. And also how we should facilitate our teachers to use the student-centered teaching. Now, as a concluding remark, I think you can see in the traditional paradigm, when we organize teacher development, program or courses or activity, we often concern how well can teacher deliver the planned content. This is a traditional answer. How well students be held to progress in the planned curriculum and achieve at a higher level standard in the public examination. I think you are familiar with this kind of question. And the last one, how well can the performance of teachers and the outcome of learning meet the stakeholder expectation? In fact, we are doing. But in the new paradigm, the questions are completely different. Let's see. The first one, how well can students' learning opportunity be maximized individually, locally, and globally? Please, this question completely different from the traditional concern. You see, the second one, more important. How well can students' self-learning be facilitated as potentially lifelong? You have the opportunity, but your learning becomes sustainable or not? This is the second question. And the third question, how well can students be facilitated to develop their own ability to globalize it, localize it, and individualize their own learning? I believe the third one is most important, one of the most important ones, because after several years of school day, school education, if our students do not have the capacity, to learn continuously, in a global way, in a local way, and in an individualized way, we will have problems because they can't survive later. You see that? And the last one, how well can students be facilitated to develop their contextualized multiple intelligence and creativity? This is the outcome. Finally, we would like to see the mindset completely, brought in. You see that? Okay, I think we have to finish. Don't go too into this one. This one encourages us to use the IT to support our teacher development such that we can redefine the nature of teacher development. We help our teacher to form the learning group, a learning community, such that we encourage the peer sharing, peer learning. And also we would like to say each school, each education institution become an organizational learning institution. They know how to learn, at the student level, teacher level. The teachers become a learning community, and the whole school have a cycle, to perform the organizational learning. The final slide, I think you agree. If we want to achieve the future, our teacher should become, I believe so, the third-rate educator, who have the CMI, creativity, and tripartization ability to create opportunity. Teachers themselves have the globalized, localized, and individualized learning, such that they can create opportunity for students and for themselves, for the future in the 21st century. Thank you very much.